a very warm welcome from my side to WorkingX. I am truly excited that we're having this event for the first time. My name's Jan, and today I'd like to talk about a people-first culture and how we've been, on the one hand, establishing it, but also embracing it and using it to our advantage at Haiilo. The reason I founded Haiilo initially was that I wanted to build sexy business software. And we wanted to reshape the way that companies communicate and interact and engage with their employees. But truth be told, I also hated the job that I had at the time that I founded Haiilo. And the reason was I was young. I was super motivated to make a difference, but I just didn't feel appreciated at my work. I didn't feel that I was truly empowered to give it my best. So I also wanted to build a company where I could establish a working culture that people would truly enjoy working in, including myself. So more or less intuitively, we ended up building one of the first people-first cultures in Germany, one that allowed us to bootstrap and build our business from nothing to 15 million euros of revenue with only a few years without an investor. But what does people-first culture actually mean? The strategic decision to build a people-first culture is based on the fundamental belief that people are the key value driver in your business. That it is people who allow your business to make these big leaps forward through innovative ideas, through passionate sales momentum, a customer-oriented mindset, but also through shaping an internal working culture of collaboration and support. It is based on the belief that people who feel safe and heard and involved will deliver above average performance. And therefore, that is quite the opposite of managing through directives, through pressure, or through fear. We've heard in the panel just now discussions about how to react to certain expectations from employees. A people-first culture is in fact about being proactive rather than reactive. Motivated employees will not only deliver results faster, they will actually also deliver better results because they understand the context of what they're doing, because they are interested in what they're doing. They look left and they look right. So knowing the context of what they're doing, they're able to overcome unexpected circumstances, new challenges, and they will find creative ideas for solving those challenges. And beyond that, they will support their peers in overcoming their challenges. Customers don't come first. Employees come first. If you take care of your employees, they will take care of the customers. And that's a famous quote by Richard Branson, who, by the way, is one of the most famous and successful entrepreneurs globally. He founded the Virgin Group. You might have heard about it. Yeah, there is Virgin Airlines or Virgin Atlantic. There is Virgin Galactic. They're flying to the space now. They have convenience stores. So they are a true B2C consumer company. Now, all the more surprising that it was Richard Branson who was the first one to openly challenge that foundational principle of business administration schools that says customer is king. Well, the reason why he did that was because he realized that he was burning through his employees in order to make customers happy. And he realized that that was not a sustainable model. And that is actually true. It's backed up by recent research. A recent Gallup study shows that companies who have an engaged workforce generate up to 21% more profit. And an even more extensive research, very recently by the Harvard Business School, shows that companies who focus on generating a good working culture have the potential to generate 400% more revenue through compounding growth effects over only a few years. So what does this tell us? It tells us that a people-first culture is really worth an invest. But don't make the mistake to think that you can get it for free, basically without making a big effort, just by providing a couple of perks or by increasing salary. That's not what people-first culture is about. It's about making sure that your employees are empowered to give their best every single day. And therefore, a people-first culture is a key foundational element to generating high levels of employee engagement. Why is it so important now? So I think when Richard Branson made this initial quote, the one I just mentioned, that was a time when companies still used to receive hundreds of applications for every single job offering they had out. We all know that these times are way over. After 14 years of consecutive growth with a lot of capital in the market, a lot of companies are out there that want to invest and they're looking for talent. And this has created a huge global competition for talent too. And that changing tide in the global labor market, as well as Generation Y and Generation Z coming into play, have changed employees' expectations about work fundamentally. So the decision to embrace a people-first culture it's actually not a strategic decision anymore. From my perspective, it's a necessity. I will go as far as to say companies who fail to embrace a people-first culture will fail within the next 10 years because they will, for the simple reason that they will fail to find and retain top talent. So what's our story here? Now, I told you in the beginning that we were a bootstrap company. So we started out without an investor, and we needed to create our growth out of our own cash flow. And that means we had very limited financial resources. Now, when you start a company without any external capital, that is super hard. And it is even harder to find top talent. So we needed to be creative. On the other hand, I also told you in the beginning, we wanted to build a vibrant working environment. So we took the decision from the start to build a people-first culture. And it worked. It allowed us to convince the best people to come on board. And today, I'm proud to say that a lot of the people that have been there in the beginning are still with us today. And I'm even prouder to say that they are still giving it their best every single day. You have hopefully learned that we have recently reshaped our mission beyond just enabling internal communication and networking. We want to empower every company to build a people-first culture as well. Now, we know it can't be done just with software. But we've also learned by talking to the market and to the people, to you, that even though many companies want to move in that direction, they are struggling because they are lacking the core technological capabilities to create alignment, to build culture, and to drive engagement in this rapidly changing and remote work environment. So we've made it our mission to provide you with the most powerful and intuitive platform for understanding, for driving, and leveraging employee engagement. Now, I have brought with me today 5 ingredients to our secret sauce. The ingredients that have helped us not only build a people-first culture, but also maintain it through our growth from 1 to 300 employees. The first one I want to talk about is leadership buy-in. And we've heard about this also in the panel just now. Leadership buy-in is super important, not only at the top level, but on any level in your business. If you want to build a people-first culture, you need to have a conviction within your leadership teams that this is the way to go down. If you have leaders in your business that still manage and keep managing through fear or pressure, instead of empowering people through trust, that will disrupt that effort altogether. The second element is understanding. If you don't understand the state of your employees and how they are feeling, then you can't make any efforts to improve it. You need to have visibility. Now, when we were only 20 employees, we took the decision to implement a software solution that we are still using today that helped us understand employee engagement levels on the entire company, but also on a department level. And we have given access to this application to all our leaders so that they can understand the state of employee engagement in their respective departments. This has allowed us to make every leader in the business, and not only the HR department or the top management, responsible and accountable for that type of a culture. Now, 2 tips here. When you choose a solution, choose one that is super easy to use. The easier it is to use, the more participation you will see. The more participation you see, the more up-to-date your result. And secondly, choose one that allows people to also submit feedback anonymously. Open-ended text feedback, I mean. Because most often, the anonymous feedback given is the most honest. The third ingredient is purpose. Yes, it's about Simon Sinek's big why. Today, people don't only want to know what they're supposed to do or how. They want to know why. I tend to differentiate between 2 different whys, though. Between the outer why and the inner why. The outer why being the company's big vision and mission and strategic goals. And of course, these need to be known by everyone in the company. But there's also the inner why. The inner why touches every single individual. This is about understanding why I am doing a certain task or how it is adding value to the overall company's success. But it's also about understanding why certain decisions are being made that have an influence on me or my work as an individual. And I find that inner why is often overlooked. Now, at Haiilo, we have established a common pattern of talking about our company's vision and mission. And we get buy-in from everyone who joins us in the hiring and recruiting process and in the onboarding that they really understand and embrace our mission. But we also use a lot of storytelling to fill that with color, because if you repeat those sentences that most of us will have somewhere, that's quite boring. So try and fill your outer why, your vision, your mission with stories and attach it to those success stories that you're generating with your customers or together with your employees. About the inner why, this comes down a lot to leadership, but another ingredient or another trick that we've done is we've really enabled and empowered every single department in our company to communicate to the rest of the company. So we've given them the power to share regular updates and news about what they're doing and why. And this is truly important to those that either work with those departments or within those departments to understand why certain things are being done. So not only sort of the internal comms, we have an internal comms function now, yes, but that's mostly top-down communication from the top management. But we are really also embracing on that communication a couple of levels down. Which leads me to my 4th ingredient, which is about dialogue and communication. Today, people don't only want to be talked to. They want to get involved. They want to have at least the possibility to take part in the conversation. They want to communicate bottom up. They want to share maybe an idea or a piece of feedback. And it is usually the employees at the forefront who deal with customers every single day that have the best ideas. So another ingredient here to feel people included is a dialogue-oriented communication. And maybe as a side note, a dialogue-oriented communication actually is much more memorable than just being talked to. The 5th ingredient, very important one, is about removing toxins. When you want to build a culture of trust and unity, it can be very easily violated or disrupted when there are people who violate trust. That are usually people who try to get their way through politics, through slandering, or through pulling strings behind the scenes. Now, these, I can tell you from own experience, these people are like a virus in your company. Because people around them who are treated that way will start to behave the same way. So, unfortunately, what I've been seeing is that in a lot of cases, leaders lack the courage to really act on these types of situations, especially when those toxic people hold power in the form of indispensable knowledge. At Haiilo, we have very strict guidelines and clear processes to make sure that the people that join us on our journey buy into our values and match our values. Values like honesty, trust, having a positive and a solution-oriented mindset. And rest assured, and we have had this unfortunately a couple times in the past, when there were situations where we had toxins in our company, we did our best to act on it. So to sum this up, building a people-first culture is based on the fundamental belief that people are the key value driver in your business. And it's true. When you look at the companies that are most successful in the world today, the ones that have overtaken established businesses, corporates that have been around for decades, are being overtaken by newcomers that are embracing people-first cultures, and they are able to attract the top people in the world. A people-first culture can be established through things like leadership, like giving them a why, a purpose, removing toxins. But we've also learned that without the right technologies and the technological capabilities, it is super hard in this rapidly changing, super dynamic, hybrid and remote working environment. And that's what we're here to do today. And that's what we step up as Haiilo to solve. Thank you very much.
Indeed, Jan, for that. What we've got, we do have a few minutes available for us now. So what I'd quite like to do is maybe we'll start with one or two of the questions that were unanswered before and see if we can get your view on that. But in the meantime, please put some new questions in for Jan about the story he's told, about Haiilo potentially. But please do put some more questions now into the questions button, and let's see what Jan can answer for you. So, one or two questions that were unanswered from the Spice Girls before. Okay, so is the topic of employee engagement primarily a white-collar issue, more so than being a topic that the blue-collar workforce is concerned about?
I don't believe so. I have recently spoken with a founder who is providing technological capabilities to companies like Gorilla or Flink. You know, as some of you know, these are last mile delivery services for food. There is a huge war going on there, and they are fighting for those frontline employees who will deliver the groceries to the door. And there is a huge war going on where these people, these types of employees, are actually in position where they get to choose where they want to work. And I have heard from them firsthand that they choose to work at the company that they can identify most with. I think we are actually moving into a situation where there is also a lack of people who want to do these front jobs, right? And that certainly leads to a shortage of labor that is available on the labor market, and thereby to another competition as well. And I do believe that in tomorrow's world, even frontline workers will want to go home and tell their friends and their families that they are proud of what they do.
Sure. And of course, at the moment, that's the big thing, right? That's where the most jobs are needed, because people are not doing them anymore. So,
yeah.
Very good. Okay, thank you. Keep your new questions for Jan coming in. So we've got some new ones, not just the ones from before. So, I think you'll like this one anyway. We're all used to personalized experiences today, which has been said is a factor that affects the expectation of employees today. What do you think are the things that organizations have to do more to encourage a more personalized approach to employee engagement?
I think that's a very good question, in fact, because personalization for the employee journey, that can't be done through manual work. It's not like you can have the HR staff to really serve that demand for a wide number of employees. So my view on this is actually one of the ingredients that also need to be solved through a scalable technology. And I do think the technologies for solving that are out there. Things like artificial intelligence can certainly automatically understand what people need in terms of their own growth, perhaps. You had this question very early in our session where we saw that people were looking for, they want to grow, right? That was one of their main concerns. So I think it relates to that.
Yeah, cool, super, thank you very much indeed. See what new questions we've got coming in. One more from the crowd before. How do you engage employees, especially in a startup, when there are silos involved?
I'm not 100% sure whether I understand the question, because, I mean, when I think about a startup, I would think about a small company that doesn't have silos, but perhaps the question comes from someone that...
Yeah, I mean, I think in kind of our experience anyway, when startups become scale-ups, as they start to scale, obviously not when they're still 8 people in a basement, but when they start to scale, quite quickly silos can start to form. Any wisdom on that?
Yeah, absolutely. Perhaps some of you have heard about this principle of working out loud. So the main priority should, of course, be to diminish those silos, right? To get rid of them. And there needs to be a form of a communication and proactive sharing where the different departments, usually silos being associated with departments, where those departments actively work out loud and share what they're working on. There are, of course, management principles that we are, by the way, using ourselves that help with overcoming silos, such as OKRs. Using objectives and key results as a goal-setting mechanism allows us to really create alignment and transparency about what's going on in the business, in the various parts of the business.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, cool, super. Thank you. You've got time, I think, for one more question for now. Let's see the ones that came up. Do you see the current situation with the home office a threat because of the distance between colleagues and the lack of internal communication, informal communication, or an opportunity to expand globally our internal communications?
Well, it is actually something that we've been thinking about quite a bit at Haiilo, because we are, experiencing this ourselves, but also because we've recently discussed this as part of our product strategy discussion. Right? How can we use our technologies to facilitate a more informal exchange as well? I do certainly believe that there are ways to facilitate such an exchange, and companies should certainly try and do that and encourage that. I do also think that perhaps the work communication is often a little bit too much work focused. When you're not in the office, you don't have these accidental get-togethers anymore where you meet someone in the coffee kitchen and you have a quick chat, right? So I think companies have to make a conscious effort to facilitate that in a hybrid working world. Personally, I do strongly still believe in social interaction. So at Haiilo, we are relying on a hybrid working model where we still allow people to come to the office for, workshops and get-togethers and have those, those moments of togetherness. Yeah.
Super. Well, speaking moments of togetherness, our moment of togetherness is finished now, but we'll catch you more later. Thank you very much indeed, Jan.
Thanks, Max.
And now we're going to hear a little bit of how Haiilo's culture has actually turned into some products and what Haiilo actually does.